Hey guys, Teacher Leanne here, and today I just want to talk to you about some tips I have for nailing your demo. These are good tips whether you're, just waiting for your demo to be scheduled, or even if you've completed your demo and you're waiting to start with your new contract. Regardless of where you are, first step is congratulations. If you've made it to the point of demo, then you know for certain that Data ABC feels that you have what it takes to be one of their teachers, so definitely give yourself a pat on the back for that. Now, it's just important to really hone in your teaching skills and prove to them that yes, you do have what it takes, and you're ready to begin. So, my double-sided tape I left out. Making some pre-class stickies. That's funny. Okay. Anyways, one thing that I do want to bring to your attention is that Data ABC did just pass a new kind of regulation. They want us to wear our light blue t-shirt for every class that we have. Again, it doesn't have to have the logo on it or anything. This is actually my husband's t-shirt that is inside out. Happens to be in sky blue. It's almost a heather blue. It's this kind of light gray blue. Be very careful that you're picking the right shade. I have heard rumors that it can impact your application for part-time hours if you have the wrong color shirt or if you're not wearing your t-shirt at all. So if you're someone who wants to add part-time hours, that's important. It was kind of a side note. Just wanted that to be, brought to your attention as you're starting. You want to make sure that you make some time to, pick up that t-shirt in the Data blue color. Okay, so first thing is setting your background. You want to make sure that you have lots of, educational images or tools behind you. My felt board usually has a little bit more educational resources, but I'm doing some lessons on feelings, and so I wanted to have my super fun emojis there. But normally I have like what an adjective is, what a verb is, what an adverb is, what a preposition is, what an interjection is. Up there, especially for the intermediate resources, it's great. Got those from teacherspayteachers.com. Reference them in other videos. They are just the #1 resource. You'll find so much for free. Those were free. So that's the first thing, is educational background. As you can see, I have my name up there so that when I'm actually sitting where I sit for class, you can see my name if, maybe you've forgotten. Students have a lot of teachers sometimes. You want them to remember your name, especially when they're rebooking you and making you their regular teacher. So that's important. Another thing that is really important is a whiteboard. This is great because you can use it to call attention to sight words, the words that we don't want to have students sound out because they break the rules of typical phonics. So here I have a couple of sight words that I have here to call some attention to them. It's actually for my next class. But they're also great because they're a magnet board too. You can play with the letters, make new words, use these for your warm-up games, even for your reward system. If you'd rather have everything done on one tool, low budget for starting up, grab a whiteboard. They're really great. Recommend that. So that should be in your classroom. I painted this blackboard onto my classroom just because this is my son's play area, so when I'm not teaching a class, it's still an area that we use for educational, for education. Okay? You want to have some props that you can kind of grab, especially if you have back-to-back classes and you don't have time to prep everything out ahead of time. I use corduroy a lot if I have a younger student that's shy or maybe isn't understanding directions so well. I'll say, "Corduroy, what does letter A say?" And then I'll have corduroy answer, because it's a little more fun than me answering the questions. You don't really want your students to feel badly. You just want them to, not feel badly that they're not getting it. You want them to have another chance to get it. So by having corduroy show them the way, oftentimes that's all the nudge that they need. That's props. You want to have a fun warm-up game ready. I like to play a really simple, almost hangman style game. There are plenty of people who play hangman. I personally don't feel like getting caught up in the weeds of explaining why we have a stick figure on a noose in a game in case there's a cultural miscommunication. I just prefer not to do it that way. So I pull out the whiteboard on our teacher portal and I drag it to take over the whole screen, and I'll make some dashes for letters, and I'll give them the first letter to start them off, and I'll draw a picture clue next to it. So I guess it's kind of a mix of Pictionary and Hangman, but you just give them that first letter. You have them say what the letter is, what sound the letter makes, and what they think the next letter might be. I've had pretty good success with that, especially in the younger ages, if you pick from the vocab that you're going to talk about in the lesson. Good way to review also their pronunciation of letters, and just helps you gauge where they are. That's what I like to do. As far as technology that you should have before your demo, if you've made it to the point of demo, I highly recommend investing in a cheap external webcam. I've done another video on Technology 411, and in that video I give you examples of what I use to show you really can do this in a low budget way. You don't need to break the bank, and you don't need top of the line equipment, and oftentimes that external webcam can be the difference you need for brighter lighting, so you won't need to invest in any kind of extra lighting. Oftentimes the external webcam will pick up on more than your internal facing laptop camera. I do recommend external headset because the volume is better. It's important that your student hears you very clearly. You want them to be copying your pronunciation exactly, so I think that's important. If you find that you have a lot of shadows, the best way to remedy that is to actually just stick one more lamp right in front of you, out of the sight of the camera. That can often get rid of any lingering, stubborn shadows that you're finding if you do need to adjust your lighting. That's it for technology. For the lesson, like I said, you want to have your props around you, your board that you can reference for words that are proving to be difficult. You want your letter index cards. These are good even for the intermediate ages when you're going to add a letter prefix to maybe a suffix that you're going to talk about together. So this can have them show that the prefix is changing and that the suffix is remaining the same depending on what the lesson is. So, index cards, blackboard, whiteboard, and props, I would say, are essential. And you want to have 3 specific props that you're using to enhance your lesson. That's really all that's necessary for the demo. Maybe one puppet, maybe one, if you're talking about vehicles, this is a school bus, I don't know, it depends on your lesson, but you might just want to have one realia, they call it. It's modeling the vocabulary word with examples from reality. So it's like, if you were talking about a vehicle or a bus, that'd be a realia example of one. Not important, just a side note. But you also want to make sure that you're keeping it entertaining and fun. So the puppets are great because you can make a silly voice, and you're not Teacher Leanne when you're talking, you're corduroy. So I highly recommend that. And if you have an older student, make sure you're taking a lot of time to have free talk with them. You want to make sure that you're really getting to know them and their interests, especially because you know that they may make you their regular student. So you want to show them at next class that you paid attention and you listened and you care. Because presumably if you've made it this far and you're in this field, you do care. You want to start with that warm-up activity at the demo. You can take about 10 minutes to do that. You can even take up to half the class time, 15 minutes to do that between the free talk and the warm-up. And they encourage that you do that because we want them to have fun. We want them to feel valued as humans and not just as students. We want them to feel heard. So take your time doing that. It's a really great part of working for Data ABC is that you're not on a time limit. You can bookmark that lesson in return. So that being said, move at the student's pace once you are in the lesson. Slow it down if you hear them kind of struggling or if you sense some confusion. Try to pull on a few other ways to teach the content. If maybe having them read it isn't working, maybe have them identify the letters of that first word and then the sounds of that that each letter makes in that first word. Just one example of being flexible, making sure that you're moving at the right pace for them. Don't forget to bookmark your slide at the end of the lesson. That's where the student will start for their next lesson, so it's very important. And one more tip is don't be like me and remember that your stars are at the bottom. They are with all the other tools in the teacher's portal in the classroom. Make sure you're clicking the star button at the bottom. Don't try to click the stars at the top. They will not fill. Yeah, that's my last tip of advice. But that's, pretty much everything. You do also, one last thing I'll add is you do also want to have some kind of secondary reward system. It can be whatever you want. I just printed out a simple grid, and these are some robots, and there's 6 of them, and by the end of the lesson, I just have them fill out the whole chart. So that's one really simple reward system that I do. Find what you like, what works for you. But, that's about it. Good luck. You're going to nail it, and just go into this with the confidence that they truly see your teaching potential. They want you to be a Data ABC teacher. They want you to succeed. I'm here for any questions, and if you've signed up with my referral link, I'm also available for 20-minute Skype coaching calls. So take advantage of that if you've signed up with me. Thank you for watching, and keep me updated. Let me know how it goes. Good luck.